All right, guys. One dirty, abused Nitro Tracker back in the studio. So, after first run, things are starting to go bad. Oh, it's actually not that bad, but things are coming loose on the body shell. But that's, you know, I guess normal. It will not be a shelf queen if you actually use it. Did I have fun though? Absolutely. So I'm just gonna say a little bit about what first impressions. Like, this was the first test run of this car. I mean, it's not super fast, obviously, but is it fast enough to have fun? I think that's more the question to ask. Like, actually in general in RC though. But if I'm gonna answer that, the answer will be yes. This thing is powerful enough to be fun to drive. Even for a person who has driven quite a lot of RC, like not a lot, but back in the days I drove a Nitro Rustler with actually it was a Nitro Sport, but with the OS Max 15 CV tune pipe geared up to the max, like 19 tooth on the clutch bell. It was really fast and it did wheelies and it basically spun the wheels on any surface. So yeah, it was kind of a monster. I basically kept up with Infernos on tarmac, no problem. So this thing is, let's be honest, a slowpoke compared to what I used to drive as a kid. But at the same time, a friend of mine had the Pure 10 Alpha, which is also an early 2000 Kyosho model with a 12 size nitro engine. Pretty slow car compared to a fast stadium truck nitro car. But the thing is that it just worked. For some reason, I had issues with range on my radio gear. I don't know why. I spotted a bunch of antennas and stuff on the rear side of on the other side of the house. So probably a lot of interference there on the 2.4 gigahertz band. Either way, it's not super fast, but I didn't expect it to be super fast. But I expected it to be kind of fast enough to be fun, because the only memory I have of a Kyosho Tracker is my childhood friend had the electric version when we were like 13, 14. I already at that time had the Traxxas Nitro Sport with the Pro 15 engine, which was pretty fast, you know, as like the first Pro RC car that I got secondhand, dirt cheap, of course, even back then. But I remember just the electric Tracker was just so slow and so toy-ish compared to the Nitro Sport that I had. But I always thought, but what about the Nitro version of the Tracker? Even though it has a small, not very powerful engine, it's much more powerful than the stock like 7.2 volt battery pack with your 550 stock electric motor. Because that was like so slow that it was boring, even though we were kids. And no sound, no smelly, no smoke, no nothing, you know? Just a slow RC car. This, however, is a lot faster. It really is. Because I remember when I felt that electric car, I was like, it was just immediately not fun. But I was also used to a Nitro stadium truck doing 30 miles an hour or something like that. But my impressions of this car is that it's not fast, but it's fun and it's cool. And it's kind of what it comes down to in this hobby. It doesn't need to go 50 miles an hour to be fun. So, what? Oh my god, it's so sloppy. So much slop and give in this whole suspension thing, even though I have upgraded this with ball bearings to try to minimize some of the slop. But I need to probably put some shims in here and there on the suspension arms to make them, but blah blah blah. I didn't even think about it when I drove it, and might feel a difference when I shim it up. Might be a little bit better handling. I really don't think so. Like, yeah, sure. I mean, it has to be, but that's the same as like, yeah, I could put a bigger engine in this car, but will it be more fun? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think this chassis would handle a lot more power than this, because it's so flexible and it's so, I mean, the whole thing flexes, you know? And might be a good thing. You might not crack it or bend it when you're jumping and stuff. If this thing went faster and had more power, I would probably just brake it easier and be more afraid of braking it. This thing is kind of nice in the way that it is powerful enough to be fun, in my opinion, and it looks very cool and it sounds very cool and it's just fun. So would I recommend anyone buying this? Well, sure, if this car was available today, I would definitely recommend it for beginners. But unfortunately, this car is now a vintage car. I think they stopped producing it in, yeah, what was it, like 2000, 2001, something like that. Unfortunately, you cannot buy this car on the shelf today, and I think these kind of cars maybe bring out a little bit more of the attention to the car itself and not just a thing that's going boom, and then that's it. A lot of YouTubers today tend to just review electric cars, and it says on the box that it's going to do 55 miles an hour, and it only went 52. And I'm like, okay, that's still pretty fast. What I'm trying to say is that speed isn't always the key to having fun. You can have so much fun with an old, cheap RC car like this. It's so cool to buy an old, abandoned RC car as long as it's complete, or you can source the parts you need to make it complete. You get the whole experience of taking everything apart and then cleaning it up and then building it back together. And most of the time you can find some digital PDFs of the original build guide if you need it. So you get the experience of building your own car, restoring it, and then it's the engine thing. Can you get that old engine to run again? If it's seized up, mission, you know, mission. That's cool, it's fun. Because if you get it to run, it definitely will be more rewarding than just plug a battery into a battery connector and do nothing at all. A lot of you guys would probably disagree a lot and probably just laugh at a slow old car like this. But, you know, the whole experience with building it, making it run, sourcing a body, putting a body shell on it, making it look somewhat, at least I think this looks cool. You don't need a lot of money or a lot of speed to have fun. You just need enough speed to have fun with an old Japanese nugget like this. So this is getting a little long, but I'm just gonna take the body off here real quick. So the only thing that I can find that's gone wrong, it's just that the slipper clutch needs to be tightened up again. That wasn't tight enough. Other than that, nothing really happened. It just worked. So when that's said, take care everybody. Be nice to people and have fun with your nitro and electric cars. See you next time.